Afternoon, viewers, and welcome to Africa and Beyond the Television Network. We continue to take a look on what's happening in the SADC region. President Emmerson Mnangagwa is set to once again visit Botswana, and it has been announced by Mahosi, who is the executive secretary for SADC. So it's very important for us to take note that it seems as if these leaders are desperate to be in Botswana. We do not know the reason why Botswana is so much important. Remember, it has been their playground during the days of President Masisi. They could send their operatives, run their own things right there. And, it was very, very easy for them to influence the SADC and its decisions. But this time around, given that we have a new setup in Botswana, it was likely that they were going to face some difficulties in terms of having an operational ground, which is so clear. So Mahosi has announced that President Emmerson Mnangagwa, they met with President Mnangagwa, and they've agreed that President Mnangagwa must visit Botswana once again. And the major issue of concern is, what is his motive? What does he want right there in Botswana once again? He was there just a few days ago. So they are going to use some statements which you are going to hear. Let me start by playing the video of Mahosi speaking, so that we get to understand what is really happening. So this time around, I think I'm pronouncing the name so well. A lot of people were trying by all means possible to lecture me on how to pronounce that name. So let us take a look onto what he said.
Care to share some of the issues you discussed with President Mnangagwa?
Yeah, one of the key things is the main summit itself, what will be covered, and that you'll be chairing that summit. It's an extraordinary summit, obviously. So there are a few items that have been discussed. The second is, as the chair of SADC, he's supposed to visit the secretariat in Botswana. So we're working on the dates of when he can come. So those dates, I think, have been firmed up, and then he will be coming into Botswana to appreciate the work of SADC that I'm heading, and also to receive the main SADC headquarters, which has been a triple P agreement. He'll be receiving it on behalf of the SADC member states or the region in Botswana, together with the president of Botswana, President Bongo. So that's a key thing. The third is really to assist us to drive industrialization. We do recognize what the Republic of Zimbabwe is doing on the industrialization process, really making sure that a lot of things are happening in the country, are developing products and goods, and not shipping them in raw form. So Zimbabwe is a good example, and we wanted him to actually lead his colleagues and make sure that they also come here to learn and benefit from that. And the last one is just the issue of regional development fund, ratification of those instruments so that we can get it operationalized. So these are the issues we discussed with the president.
Thank you so much, Secretary.
So these are the key issues which he highlighted there, that they're actually going to facilitate President Mnangagwa to be in Botswana once again. And it's very important for us to note that this is not just a meeting or just a program which they want. Sources very, very close to this were saying that this information circulated yesterday, that he was soliciting to actually go and meet once again the Botswana president. So they'll find ways for him to be smuggled into Botswana, and SADC Secretariat, which he has been controlling for a very long time, is the key ingredient in this. Esther, thank you very much, for my sister, for coming this afternoon, and a very good afternoon. So you would see that they're talking about the summit. Yes, tomorrow, I think that is the day for the summit. And several presidents, including President Cyril Ramaphosa, they are not yet in their own countries. The president of Tanzania, they're not yet in their own countries. They are attending a G20 summit in Brazil. We do not know if these presidents are going to rush to Zimbabwe tomorrow. If they rush tomorrow to Zimbabwe, they will save the image of Mnangagwa for some time. But if they don't come to this summit, then that will be a definition of something which is coming after Emmerson Mnangagwa. Emmerson Mnangagwa's leadership is not going to survive. He is not going to survive far much longer. It's because he has created a bad precedent. SADC has failed to act in Zimbabwe in 2023. SADC will also fail to act in Zimbabwe on something which is coming on Emmerson Mnangagwa. He's aware of what is coming after him, and there is nothing he's going to do to stop it. So let me tell you one thing which is very important. Vice President Chiwenga is not going to be the next president of Zimbabwe. I will repeat this. Vice President Chiwenga, I do not see him being the next president of Zimbabwe. And he is going to be a man who is hurt, who will simply just leave it just like that. There are certain forces which are going to move against Emmerson Mnangagwa. And I believe that those forces, they now have much evidence against Emmerson Mnangagwa that he has violated the constitution. All they need is a justification that Emmerson Mnangagwa has violated the constitution enough for them to make a move. And they will use that violation of the constitution to make a move against Mnangagwa. That is what they need. So at this point in time, forget about Vice President Chiwenga. He is there. Kuti varambe vachikonzeresa matensions nekuvhiringidza is a catalyst to what is coming. And but definitely it is going to appear as if Vice President Chiwenga will simply move together with Emmerson Mnangagwa. I said in around June, July, let us pray for Valerio Sibanda, and I continue to call for that prayer to say, guys, let us pray for Valerio Sibanda because he is a man who does have two options. He is supposed to follow one option, and that is the option which we need as Zimbabweans. Let us pray that he follows the best option for the people of Zimbabwe, and he knows what he needs to do, and he does have everything in control for him to act accordingly to defend the constitution of Zimbabwe. He will be doing things lawfully, and he will facilitate a smooth transition from the old to the new. So that is something which is very important, which we need to pray for. Let us pray that God preserves his life. You know, what we are talking about is that the regime, they are actually trying by all means possible to find a way to remove him from where he is, or by either by hook or by crook or any other means. They don't want him there. So it's a matter of us praying to God that God puts around people who are going to help Zimbabwe, so that we get a rebirth which is going to influence things in a different way. I know that a lot of us believe that the generals have failed, the generals have begged ZANU-PF for a very long time. Yes, they are hard-headed generals who don't want change at all. But let me tell you that there are certain individuals, certain people, very influential people who want change in Zimbabwe. Let us pray for those people to prevail. Let us pray so that they are heard. And one of the most important things is to know that these people do not trust the Vice President Chiwenga 100%, which means that is the reason why you are seeing him failing to outmaneuver Emmerson Mnangagwa like what is supposed to happen. So it's something else. So Team Zimbabwe, there is desperation. Emmerson Mnangagwa need allies in the SADC region. In case something happens, it's definite that Zambia is not going to support him. As long as Mozambique is under fire, he doesn't have support there. As long as DRC is under fire, he doesn't have support there. Malawi is likely going to be neutral and will not interfere. And if Namibia change comes, it means another country not supporting him. Which means if he says, I need reinforcements right here in Zimbabwe, he will not get them. Because South Africa DA will stop any form of resistance from the South African side to help Emmerson Mnangagwa. So you would see that some things, when they happen, I know that a lot of people would get angry. Why is ABCD happening? But everything happens for the good. And Nelson Chamisa, being wise as he is, and as a man who has taken heed of advice, he has distanced himself from the 2023 elections, which means it remains a constitutional obligation for Mnangagwa to fulfill. And with the SADC report on our side, it remains a constitutional obligation for Mnangagwa to fulfill what the SOM report, what the SADC leaders said was supposed to be addressed when they met during the extraordinary summit. Let us note this thing. SADC has failed us, yes, but to some extent they have done a good job, which is going to prohibit them from deploying forces in Zimbabwe in support of Emmerson Mnangagwa. So if this is a man who is going to face whatever is going to face, he will have to defend himself internally. And it's something very interesting. That is the reason why he's trying to prop up allies, especially if he manages to prop up the new Botswana president to be on his side. He will know that the SADC secretariat will be pushing other countries to actually act. But it's too late now, because I don't see the new leader in Botswana allowing him to actually roam around the same way he has been doing right there. So this meeting, which they are calling, it's going to be a headquarter, SADC headquarter, he was not supposed to be there. But he's trying by all means possible to be there, so that he fulfills what he wants right there. So he's a man who is hungry for a meeting. That is the reason why, if you look at the last meeting which they had with the president of Botswana, they had to meet in a tent-like office. They had to have a meeting, a quick meeting in a tent. You know, it's a sign of desperation. He's so desperate to meet with the Botswana president so that his plight is heard. And some sources are saying that Masisi is trying by all means possible to put some pressure, but because of his own issues right there, it's becoming more difficult for him. So the SADC secretariat will be trying to facilitate the meetings and also run around with the message between Emmerson Mnangagwa and the Botswana president, Duma Boko. So it's very interesting to note what is happening in the nation of Zimbabwe at this point in time. It's a myth as we speak, but with time, the people of Zimbabwe will start to understand what we have talked about. Let me assure you, Nelson Chamisa does have a bombshell. He does have a bombshell. What is going to happen is going to surprise a lot of people. It will look like people will ask questions, Saka, is Zaimbo Akupi all along? What is going to happen is going to shock a lot of people. It's going to be very easy. What has taken time to be fulfilled will be fulfilled in a very, very, very short space of time. But it's not going to be easy. It's going to be very tense. It's going to be very difficult. And the route he has taken so far to hijack the strongholds of ZANU-PF, that is the best route ever. And you know, sometimes when you have the spirit of God on your side, you do things accordingly, you do things rightly, and you are always on point. You don't miss certain things. So Zimbabwe is destined for change. Zimbabwe is destined for something good and something great. We are not doing this, Team Zimbabwe, for anything else, but for the future generations. Personally, I don't fear anything, because I feel that even if I'm put in jail, I'm not going to stay in jail for long, because change will definitely come and will walk out of that prison. I don't believe that they have the capacity to take off my life. I don't believe that. I know that God, if I am supposed to live, you protect my life by all means possible, which means the only option they have is to throw us in jail. But we are not going to take long. Even if they throw us in jail, we are not going to take long. Even if they try to silence us, we have so many people who are capable to speak the same way we are doing. And God always raises people to speak in different capacities and with different authority. to some issues. So it's a very interesting Team Zimbabwe. Let us continue to pray for change to happen. We are not doing this simply because of anything else. We are doing this because we need to give the people of Zimbabwe assurance that change will come to the nation of Zimbabwe. We shall be happy. I always say this: be prepared. Write your business idea. That idea, write it down. Why? When change comes to the nation of Zimbabwe, there are going to be a lot of opportunities in the construction, in the engineering, in the IT sector, in the ICT, everywhere. You are going to see a lot of opportunities. And Zimbabwe is almost 20 or more years behind other countries in terms of development, technology, all sectors we are behind, which means we are going to need a lot of people to be covering some issues. So you would see that you need a company to be ready for you, so that patino noti talonja autangirwe nema Nigerians, autangirwe nema South Africans, autangirwe nema Germany kana nevamwe vanhu vanouya vakarongeka. Rongeka vana veZimbabwe. I always say this: garai makarongeka, garai mune plan, onera izvezvizvi parikuda pane vacuum, so that when that day comes, you go and fill the vacuum, you become a millionaire. It's not an issue of entrepreneurship. It will be an issue of grabbing my opportunities are really legitimate, because people will be running for tenders. They are too small, and others who feel that they are small, they will be taking those tenders. They will be taking other big tenders. And remember that which means you will be having more advantage. So it's something great in Zimbabwe. There is a lot which is happening. If you're in diaspora, look at what is lacking in Zimbabwe and make sure that you polish your expertise in those areas, such that pauno uya you won't disappoint, you do great jobs, quality job, and you continue to deliver. That is what we want. We need to see a lot of Zimbabweans are getting so much opportunities, and that time is coming. So let me take a few comments. Anzi Boko Ngasa Dakwit Nabasa. Thank you very much, Tinashe, for this. Michael says ED is confused. How are you, my brother Rangarira? Thank you very much for coming. He made the bed for himself, so he should sleep on it. Thank you very much. Vision says, Anze, have you heard about the guy named Jeff Judah? That guy is attacking President Nelson Chamisa. I wonder why. Akudaro, can you please tell us more about him? Okay, so can we have it to do a live program about Jeff Judah? I used it to cover Jeff Judah in the past, but I stopped. The moment he started this thing of attacking President Nelson Chamisa, the moment he started something called the Liberation What, I stopped covering him for the sole purpose. We do not need to give them publicity. Publicity at all. These are people who simply want to cause chaos and confusion. And remember, you know, Vana Jeff and very desperate, who always want things to be done in their own way, who do not understand what is happening, and they are operating from South Africa. They are not even in Zimbabwe. So, kazhinji kutungamirwa nemunhu ari kudiaspora kunonetsa because he does not understand what is on the ground. We are on the ground right here in Zimbabwe. There are certain things we know that you will be doing them wrongly, and there are certain things we know that there is a necessity for us to do them or to say them. So the moment he started attacking Nelson Chamisa, he became an enemy of the people, because Jeff Judah does have his constitutional right to do whatever he wants to do, and it's his right. But you don't come to ride on attacking other leaders. Like President Nelson Chamisa is not in power. But you see, Jeff Judah consider confusion as if he has contributed anything to the struggle. At a certain point in time, Jeff Judah Osana said we are organizing protests to shut down the border in Messina. We supported the idea and said, well, if you want to shut down the border, it's your right, do it. He failed to mobilize for the shutdown of the border. So who is he? He is a nobody. He's an entity, and we'll continue to ignore him. And we do not want to validate whatever he has been saying. That is the reason why you are seeing we are not criticizing him here. We don't want to share anything about him right here anymore. And that is the reason why we continue to defend our champion-in-chief, President Nelson Chamisa. There are certain battles which President Chamisa cannot come on social media to fight or to defend himself. You don't expect to see a leader coming on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube to defend himself. We have to do whatever we can to defend him. And we don't need, let me tell you this, we don't need any authority from President Nelson Chamisa to defend him. We need to know his vision. His vision alone is enough for us to defend him. That is the reason why we use all avenues possible for us to get as much information as we can and to say whatever we want, which we see and believe that is good for the people of Zimbabwe. Personally, I don't care about who you are. As long as you do something to harm Nelson Chamisa ndikazviziva, I will come to rebuke you, and I don't care about the consequences. That is the reason why you have seen my accounts. They've tried so many times to hack my accounts, to close my accounts. I'm going to send you, one day I will send the screenshots. Okay, what I will do is I will send some screenshots on right here on the platform. I will post them as pictures just to show you how desperate they are. They went and paid someone I knew 5, 6, around 7, 8 years ago. I think around 2015, 16. I knew that person, and they went to use that person to try and hijack my email and my Facebook accounts. And you know, we know about their desperate actions. So if we are not effective, why are they paying people to try and do such things? So you'd see that, guys, these people, they are desperate. They've realized how powerful social media is. So they're trying by all means possible to discredit and confuse, cause vachisa information is serious, and those who are desperate for content, things to be done the way they want it, Ivo Pachavo. And it's not, it's actually okay. So my system changed. Something happened on my system. I overstayed. I was supposed to be here for around 10 to 15 minutes. So it seems as if I need to go at this point in time. So let us meet in other episodes, in other broadcasts, so that we can talk about Jeff Judah Osana. Make it a date so that we come and talk about Jeff Judah. And thank you very much, everyone, for coming.